Hey, so today I wanted to just show you kind of the difference between how I would do a very natural looking brow and a very structured brow. A very structured brow. A structured brow for me, I guess. So I guess this is gonna kind of relate to like, I guess this is gonna kind of relate to like my dude series where I'm showing you like differences. I kind of did a video already that was like how you shape your brows, I guess, and how it changes the way your face looks. But today I just wanted to show you the difference, like basically the two different brows that I like to wear. Just so you guys know, if you aren't aware of, this is literally a wrapper from some pistachios. Don't know why I'm holding that. If you don't know Snitchery, she does very similar videos where she kind of breaks down like different looks and shows like different eyebrows, different ways of doing your lips, different like nose contour, whatever. She has a very, very different face shape than me. I was gonna say to me. So I highly recommend checking out her channel if you don't look anything like me and you're just like, I need more. Like I need more faces. So I can link her channel down below. She's awesome. So today we're gonna start off with the natural brow. Okay, so the process is semi-similar. A lot of the products that I use are very similar, but there are some differences. Hey, what are you doing? Why? Can you play with this instead? So the first thing that I do for a very natural brow, well, first I guess let's talk about my eyebrows. So they are actually like relatively full. Basically, I overplucked them when I was middle school. You know what I mean? Like early 2000s shit. And they were so skinny and ridiculous looking. And then when I got to college, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna grow this shit, because that's when like full brows were like coming into style a little bit. And they have grown out pretty well. Thankfully, I didn't completely lose them. I don't know. I eat well and I take my vitamins. I drink a lot of water. That's pretty much what has helped, I think. But the little trick that I'm going to show you, or this natural brow, is going to be, it's going to be great for sparse brows as well. It's really the products that you're using. So the first thing that I do is brush up my brows with, this is going to look gross, but it's a bar of soap. This is the Dr. Bronner's bar of soap. I think it's the lavender one. You can use any of them. I get them at Target. They've got them at Ulta, Walmart. Like you can get this pretty much anywhere. Amazon, whatever. This one is the one that I like. You can use certain bars of soap, but I think it's supposed to be like a specific kind, and I don't remember what. There are plenty of videos on soap brows though. If you have very dry skin and you're like, no, I can't. Soap makes my skin and my brows way too dry. Try the Tartiste brow gel. That is the only brow gel I've ever used that really held my brow hairs up, but soap is just better for me. So, I need to clean this. Hold on. Hey, little buddy. All right, next, spoolie. That's what you need. This one is from Sigma Beauty. It's the Brow and Lash E80 spoolie brush, whatever. Get the one from NYX, get the one from e.l.f. Does not matter, you just need a spoolie. I do like this one because it's quite detailed. So what I'm gonna do is, now I'm usually sitting at this desk like filming, so I use a setting spray. Where did it go? Oh, it's so far now. I use a setting spray. This is the one from Dominique Cosmetics. It's the collaboration with JD Wadey 180. It's just a face mist, basically. You could just use water. It doesn't matter. You just need to get it wet. So I'm gonna just pull the, oh, I thought the top was the cap and I just pulled it off. Oh, all right, anyway. So I'm just gonna spritz this a couple times so that there's, you know, enough, I don't know if you can see it, but just enough water in there. You don't want it to be too wet. And then I'm gonna take my spoolie, roll it around in the soap, just so that it creates like a little bit of a paste, kind of like that. You know, again, I don't want it to be too wet, because if it's too wet, then it just ends up like not working. You want it to be thick enough so that it really grips. So I'm going to start by just brushing my brows, and I'm gonna make them real fluffy, because like, why not, you know? So if you have makeup on already, like I do, I have my foundation, pulling against the skin a lot is going to maybe leave, you know, some marks like up top here. So you want to be kind of careful. I try to use like a light hand and just grab the brow hairs basically. If you do this before foundation, you don't have to worry about that, but then I find it to be kind of difficult to apply foundation afterwards. Let's make them so fluffy. Like, why not? So I'm basically just gonna brush them up straight and then kind of like do these kinds of motions, brushing up and out. Really do that and flatten them against your skin. But again, you want to be careful about like your foundation. And I'm going to turn it. If you get like any soap buildup, you can kind of like turn it and pick up any leftover product. But it's starting to dry, so I guess I'm just going to leave it. But yeah, you basically just want to, you know, brush them up and out. They obviously already look like super duper thick and full, right? Doesn't that just look like so fabulous? So now you just want that to set. You want that to dry, because otherwise, if you start going in with a pencil or a pomade or a brow pen or even a powder, it's going to get like kind of stuck, I guess, and it can move the brow hairs. It can like kind of ruin the process. So you want them to set and dry so that they stay in place. Okay, now for this brow, for like a very, very natural look, I'm going to be using the Lime Crime Bushy Brow Pen. I have a bunch of brow pens. Brow pens in general have completely changed my brow game. They're basically all I use. I have pencils and pomades and stuff. I do use a pencil occasionally, which is what I'm going to show you over here, but I can't live without brow pens now. This is one of my favorites, especially for a very natural brow, because it's a very nice, like, light color. It's like the perfect shade for my brows. It's not too dark. There isn't too much pigment. The color itself has a little bit more of an olive tone to it, which keeps it from looking too warm. It just kind of like blends in with my brow hairs very nicely. It's not like too purpley, you know? So all I'm gonna do now that I have the shape created is go in and just kind of like fill in the areas that are a little sparse. So down here, and I just use a very light hand, and you can basically just draw in brush strokes. So this is going to look a lot softer. See, already that is just like so nice, and obviously you can build it up as much as you want, but I kind of want to just keep it looking very natural and light. So really just kind of looking at like, okay, so this is the area of my brow that's very full, that has the most hair, so I just want it to look balanced. And I can kind of pick and choose where I apply more, and then obviously in the more sparse areas I can like do a little more filling, maybe bring them out just a tiny bit. If you lay it a little bit flatter, it's going to deposit more color, make it a little thicker. And if you kind of do this, turn it like that, and just use the tip, you're going to apply less product, and it's going to be more precise. Okay, so that is my fluffy, natural looking brow. You obviously don't have to fill it in as much if you don't want to, but I like to make it look nice and balanced. But it obviously gives a nice lift. It makes my eyebrows look a little less angry, kind of, because these are a little bit like, this is pointing down a little bit more, you know, it kind of like brings my eye down a little bit. This is making it look a little bit softer and a little bit more lifted. So now for my other brow, for a slightly more structured brow, what I like to do is start off with a brow pencil. My favorite are the Ultra Slim Brow Pencils by Maybelline. So I have a couple different colors. This is in the shade blonde, and then I think I have like pale blonde or light blonde or something like that, warm blonde, maybe it's a little bit lighter. But I'm gonna start off by sketching the shape. So I kind of just like to, why do you focus on my earring? I know you love my earrings, but like stop. Okay, so I'm going to start off by sketching underneath my brow. So I kind of like just, because I have this like little patch right here that's very uneven. So I'll kind of shape the bottom of it. Now obviously if I'm trying to like get them even, it's going to be a little bit different because this isn't going to look exactly like this, you know. But I'll kind of go in and just draw a line underneath the brow. And I actually like to kind of leave a few hairs here because it just ends up making it look a little bit more natural. And I also, when I do a little more structured brow, I like to extend the tail a little bit. And then for the upper part, I just use a lighter hand, but I just kind of create a little bit more of a shape to follow. So I'm creating like a little bit more of a guide. So I'm really just using the pencil to kind of like shape it out, you know? And then I'm going to use the spoolie side to brush that out. Now sometimes when I brush it out, I end up taking product in like other areas of my eyebrow. So I'll go in with a little bit of concealer or my foundation if I want it to be like not quite as poppy, you know? I don't know if that makes sense. So today I use the Revlon Color Stay foundation. I'm going to use that. It's in the shade Buff. I'm going to put a little bit on the on a paper towel. And then with a flat brush, I'm going to pick that up on the tip. And I'm going to trace underneath the eyebrow. So even if I don't have color everywhere, placing a concealer or a foundation underneath the eyebrow is going to just kind of like help sharpen that edge. I'm not even really taking it all the way up to where I put the pencil, but you're just creating a little bit more contrast between color. You're putting like a slightly, come on, you're putting a slightly lighter color against that dark, which is just going to kind of like help sharpen and make it pop a little. So it just kind of cleans it up a little bit. Now I'm gonna do the same thing with my soap. So I'm gonna spritz it again, pick it up with that same spoolie, and brush that out. When I do a more structured brow, I don't like to make it quite as thick because it's going to be a little darker, a little more like, I don't know, graphic sort of? Not really, but you know what I mean. So I do a little bit more of the like swooping to the side. So I brush it up and then swooping like that. So I just don't want it to be like too thick. That's just how I prefer it. I guess it's actually like basically the same thickness, huh? Never mind. And then same deal, I just want that to sit for a little while. But while we're waiting, you can kind of see that this brow itself just looks like a lot softer. Now granted, this brow, my right brow does just kind of like lend itself to that shape a little bit more, and this brow is a little bit more structured. But here you can kind of see that like going in and laying in that color with the pencil gave me more of a guide. On this side, I didn't really have like a line. I didn't have any kind of a line guide, you know? So you don't necessarily have to do this. You can kind of like combine the techniques. Now, once that's dried, the product that I'm going to be using is the NYX Brow Tint Pen. This is the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen. So this one is in the shade Ash Brown. So it kind of ends up being a little bit of trial and error when it comes to brow pens because some of them are a little bit too warm. Some deposit way too much color. That's true of the Glossier brow pens. I like the brown one, but it deposits a lot of color. The blonde Glossier brow pen is straight up red, so just be warned. The lighter shades of the NYX brow pens are a little bit too warm, which is why when I'm using a slightly lighter shade, I like to use the Lime Crime one. They just nailed the undertone on this one. I think this is the only color that oh no, I used to use Baby Brown, and that might be a little bit too red, which is slightly darker than, what? Did I tell you what color this is? Dirty Blonde. I didn't even tell you. This is Dirty Blonde. So when I'm doing a more structured brow, I want like a little more depth. So I want to use something a little bit darker, like Ash Brown from NYX, and I will show you the difference. So this lighter one is Lime Crime, and this is NYX. So it still has a really nice tone to it. It's not too warm. It's still got like a really nice cool tone color, but it is darker. So now I'm going to go in and once again, fill in the sparse areas, but I'm going to be following that guide. The NYX brow pens have a very thin applicator. Look at how tiny that is. It's perfect for precision. Highly recommend these. So now I'm kind of going like all over the brow with a very light hand. I'm trying to stay within that guide. And this is just going to create a little more structure, but it's still going to look natural. Now, I personally think that this is the most natural looking way to create a structured brow compared to, you know, a lot of the ways that people see them, because I realize it might seem like many steps or maybe time consuming, which once you start doing it, it's really, really not. I personally think that using multiple products like this creates the most natural looking depth. All right, that's it. Super simple. There's a little bit more structure to this one. It's a little bit more of a statement brow. I guess this did get a little bit thick. Please focus on my face. You're being so rude right now. And this is a lot more natural and light. Personally, this is how I like to do my brows the most. I would say most often for most of my makeup looks, I end up kind of doing something a little bit like in between the two. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that helped you in some way. Personally, I think they're both really fire. Yeah. If you want to see any more videos along these lines, tell me what they might be, because I'm running out of ideas. Dude, this fucking camera loves my earring. I don't know why. Okay, bye.